All right, what do you say, Vic? We ready to kick this thing off?
Let's ride.
All right, let's ride. All right, everybody, hello and welcome to our weekly 30-minute workshop. Thank you for being here. My name is Trey Gonzalez. I'm a product manager here at Variphy, and I'll be your host for today's live webinar. We're joined by my good buddy Victor Verba, a systems engineer over here at Variphy. How you doing, Vic?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day indeed. All right, so for today's session, Vic is going to introduce the brand new CUCM real-time Hump Pilot widget. Now, I'm really excited about this one. I had the pleasure of being able to work with Vic and the rest of the team behind the scenes on this widget, so I couldn't be more proud to finally present the real-time Hump Pilot widget for you all live today. But first, allow me to walk you through the agenda for today's webinar. We are going to kick it off with a quick overview about Variphy and what it is we do. Then we'll jump right into the demo where Victor will demonstrate and showcase the brand new Hump Pilot widget. After the demo, we'll pause for Q&A, get some of your questions answered. So during the demo, if you have any questions, please be sure to ask them in the chat panel. I'll be monitoring those and I'll make sure to get all those questions answered towards the end. And then lastly, excuse me, say that 5 times fast. We will reward one lucky attendee with a $50 Amazon gift card. So hang tight till the end and see if you might have won. So a little bit about us. Variphy is the preferred analytics and management solution for unified communications analytics. We provide industry-leading dashboards and call reporting for Cisco Unified Communication Manager, Cisco Contact Center Express, Cisco Cubes, now Zoom Phone, and we've recently released support for WebEx calling analytics. We support all these platforms alongside a suite of management tools such as remote phone control, macros, change management, and DID management, which are all focused towards CUCM Cisco Call Manager. But today we're going to be focusing on the new real-time Hump Pilot widget. And again, if you have questions about any of the other features I listed, or if you simply have an interest in taking any features for a test drive, feel free to message us in the chat panel. You can also email us. Our addresses are shown on the final slide. Or if you're already part of the Variphy community, simply reach out to your account manager for more information. One more thing before we kick off, Variphy does offer a managed consulting service where our systems engineers team engages with you on a one-on-one basis. We remotely provide consulting, unassisted reporting, dashboarding, configuration, and system monitoring assistance. Again, this is a service that provides you a dedicated Variphy systems engineer to do all of the heavy lifting for you, giving you a completely hands-off experience. For more information, please contact us and we'd be glad to speak more in depth about these managed services. All right, let's get right into the demo. Vic, let me go ahead and make you a presenter.
All right. Let me share out my screen here. All right, you guys should be seeing my dashboard now. Just to piggyback off that, Trey, you're not the only one super excited about this. One of the things we always do is we do a lot of hunt group analytics. We have a lot of folks asking us, to be able to tell, what the call volume is, the abandon rates, the answer rates, really trying to squeeze, contact center-esque metrics out of a hunt group, whether it's through native call queuing or just a standard hunt group. So this is a big widget for us, and it's going to really kind of take us to that next step with being able to provide even more analytics around your hunt groups or your native call queues. So let me go ahead and get started. These are going to be a couple of new dashboards that are going to be different than what we've really seen before. So the first thing we do is we need to add our widget, and we're going to select our feature, which will be our call analytics. A little bit different than call analytics for this particular widget because it doesn't really rely on CDR. This widget is utilizing a little bit more of our background technology and our integration with Call Manager than it is relying on CDR. So once we have our widget type, you're going to notice a new real-time Hunt Pilot status widget right here. So easy enough, we go ahead and click next, and that's going to bring us into the widget building form where we can give ourselves a name here. We'll just call this user-based Hunt Pilot widget. All right, we're going to give it a simple name. You're going to notice that it's got a default 5-second refresh rate. You can take that up to 1 minute if you want to. I'm going to leave that at 5 seconds for right now. You're going to notice a couple different views here. You have a user view, and we also have a phone view. There's a difference here, and we're going to see some of that as we go through this presentation. The user view is going to be reliant on your end user database. In other words, users owning phones that belong to hunt groups. This is a great way to be able to produce logged in, logged out information based on the number of users that are in your hunt groups. So you'll notice also that we have a default field here that for user ID. This field cannot be removed. Because we are in user view, we have to have an end user ID in this detail column. But we can go ahead and add some other statistics in here. So let's go ahead and start by adding, we'll end the end user, we'll do first name and last name here. And we're going to go ahead and add the, let's go ahead and add the hunt pilot name and the number in there. And then we're going to add the status. Status is going to help us identify whether we're logged in, logged out. And then we're going to add some durations in there. You'll notice that we can also add the department in here if we want to. Again, all that information is going to be coming from the end user database within your Cisco Call Manager. That's part of the integration and benefit that you get with Variphy. So right now what we're setting up are the detail columns. This is going to be per user, what we see on a per user basis. The next thing we need to do is we need to tell the system what hunt pilot or pilots we're going to go ahead and do this for. Right now I'm going to go ahead and select one, and we're going to stick with our snuggly kittens because over at Variphy we do love snuggly kittens. So we're going to go ahead and just do one hunt pilot for right now. As I scroll down here, you'll notice a couple different options where I can filter, all hunt pilot statuses, include all hunt pilot statuses, or I can just include logged in or logged out. For this presentation, we're just going to include everybody. You can also filter the hunt pilot status by duration. The reason that we added this is we have a lot of folks out there that, sometimes they have hard phones or they have soft phones and maybe they just haven't used it. Maybe they're at their desk 90% of the time, but they still have a soft device. That maybe has been logged out of the hunt group for, who knows, 6 months. You may not want to see those. So you have the ability to go ahead and say anything greater than, 5 hours or, based on seconds, 6,400 seconds or anything like that. So you can always filter out some of those devices that are not used by using that filter by duration. It's a great option to get some of those, soft phones out there that just aren't used very commonly, but still part of the hunt pilot, still associated to a user. All right. The next thing that we're going to have here is show statistics summary bar. If you're familiar with any of our analytics or our hunt group analytics, this is going to be very similar to what you are already familiar with. This is going to give us a summary of the number of people logged in or logged out of that particular hunt group or the ones that we are including in our search. So in this example, I'm really mainly focused in on how many folks are logged in and really how many folks are logged out. Not necessarily the average logged in duration or logged out duration. That's going to go ahead and fluctuate, but you have those options there as well. But for this demonstration, I'm just mainly focused in on the number of people logged in and logged out. So we're going to give this guy a save and we're going to let him render. So what we're doing right now is we're using our integrations to Call Manager to not necessarily look at CDR like a CDR report, but to look at the individual hunt pilots, the phones associated to those hunt pilots. And in this particular case, because we're looking at a user view, we're also looking at the users in the end user database that are associated to the phones and then ultimately the hunt pilots. So what do we have here? We've got several people logged into this particular hunt pilot. We actually have 3 folks logged into this. Myself, my buddy Matt over there, and of course, Bruce Wayne. We cannot miss Mr. Bruce Wayne. So very easy enough. We have all of our logged in folks. Now, the cool thing about this is there's any number of things that we can do to kind of demonstrate some of this. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is show you how the screens change. So what I'm using here is our remote phone control tool, and I am remote into, I believe this is Batman's phone. Yep, there's the bat signal. So what I can do here is log off that hunt group, give that guy a second to render here. And there we go. I have successfully logged off the hunt group. Let me refresh my phone screen here, and you'll notice in the background, we now changed to red. So this is now indicating that I have Bruce Wayne is no longer logged into the hunt pilot. His status duration is about 16 seconds. That's going to continue to increment, and the timestamp in which he logged out of that hunt pilot. So now what we're looking at are the number of people available to take calls in my hunt pilot. You're also going to notice that our buddy Matt just logged out of the hunt pilot there, so I think he's spying on us in the background. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is log us back in, and let's see how that interacts here. So let's go ahead and log back into our hunt pilot, and we'll give our screen a second to refresh here. And let me scoot this guy out, and you can see that we are now logged back into that Hunt Pilot. So just by logging in or logging out, that is going to go ahead and change your status. You'll notice that our total logged in count is now 3. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch gears a little bit. So the same way I could log in and out of a Hunt Pilot on a hard phone, which is what I was demonstrating before, is the same thing that I can do logging in and logging out of a soft client. So right now I am logged out of the soft client, and you'll notice that I am logged out. So from a hard phone or a soft phone, that's no problem. Now, one of the things that we also see that's pretty common is rather than people logging in and logging out of some of these soft clients, they just close out the phone. So we are aware that that essentially is taking them out of the Hunt Pilot. If their phone's not active, they are not going to be able to take calls. So what I'm going to do here is just close my soft pilot, or my IPC phone here, my soft phone. And let's give that guy a moment to shut itself down. And there you go. So it is also going to go ahead and indicate that I am logged out, even if I close my phone. So when you're talking about your hard phones, if that phone is not registered, it is not able to take calls on the Hunt Pilot if it's a hard phone. If it's a soft phone and they close out the soft device or the IPC device, again, that is going to show them as logged out. Now, they didn't truly hit that log out button. And if I open my soft phone back up, it's going to go ahead and show that they are logged back in. But because they are not able to take calls, we are going to go ahead and consider them logged out. Essentially, what we want to show you is the number of people available to take calls and the number of people not available to take calls. So pretty straightforward. Let me open up my phone again here on my other screen. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at our next view. So, oh, you know what? One more thing before I go. Let's go ahead and show you one other example here in the user view. You are not limited to just a singular Hunt Pilot, which is what I included here. You can have multiple Hunt Pilots in here. So I'm going to go ahead and add our Ninja's Hunt Pilot in there. And you're going to go ahead and see some differences. And I want to make sure that we can point out what some of those differences are. So let's go ahead and let this guy render. And do that while I'm getting logged back into my soft device. All right, so I am part of both of those Hunt Pilots. I am part of 222, the Ninja's Hunt Pilot, and I'm also part of Snuggling with Kittens. So what we have here is me in 2 different locations. So let me go ahead and log that. Oh, I just logged myself off. So that'll change. Now, what you're going to notice here is I still have a total number of 3 people logged in. We are going to combine me because I am logged in to both Hunt Pilots. If I were logged into one and not the other, on a different phone, then you're going to see 3 people logged in and 1 logged out. So we are taking into account the fact that there are going to be people with multiple Hunt Pilots on their system. All right. So the next view I want to go ahead and demonstrate here is, well, you can see Batman also is part of a couple different Hunt Pilots, but with the same result, if I go ahead and log Batman off, because he is part of both Hunt Pilots, it is going to log him off of both of them. Cool thing here is, and we're going to see this in our next demonstration, is the particular hard device that I'm using here for Batman only has 1 particular Hunt Pilot, but Batman is part of 2 Hunt Pilots. Now, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. It's actually pretty common. Somebody's going to have multiple phones. They may have a soft phone. They may have a hard phone. So you're going to have times where you're going to go ahead and see multiple people in multiple different states, depending on the phone that they're using. So to answer that and to help with that, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just make a quick copy of this widget. And we're going to take a look at the data from a different view. So let's let this guy render here. And we're going to change over to our phone view and move away from our user-based view. Thinking, there we go. And let me edit this guy down. So what we notice right here in the beginning of the middle of the screen here is we have choose a perspective. Everything that we've been working out has been based off of the users, the number of users that are logged in or logged out, available to take calls versus not available to take calls. So we're going to switch gears and we're going to move over to the phone view. Much like in the user view, we have a static column. Because we are looking at phones, we have to have the name of the phone in here, so this cannot be removed. All right, but you do have the option to be able to go ahead and add information the same way that we added information previously. We're going to go ahead and add the end user ID. We'll go ahead and add the Let's add the phone description here, and let's scoot this guy up a little bit so we get a phone description right next to our phone name. We're going to add our Hunt Pilot number and our Hunt Pilot name in here. And you can even add the type of phone that they're on, whether it's an 8851 or an IPC phone, the registration timestamp, registration duration. So we're going to add a couple of those guys in there. We'll go ahead and keep it with our current Hunt Pilots here. Again, the same filter option, so you do have the ability to filter some things out, and you also have the ability to go add how many total registered devices that we're seeing, total unknown, unregistered, or partially registered devices. And that's pretty common when we have hard phones or anything like that, where you may get something that's partially registered, or in an unknown state. If a phone is unregistered for a certain amount of time, Cisco automatically does kick that to an unknown state. So we are identifying how many calls or how many phones are going to be in that state as well. All right. So we're going to go ahead and add those guys in there. And let's take a look at what we've got here. So you're going to need to notice some similarities here. I'm going to go ahead and draw some attention to this guy here so we can see a little bit of what we're talking about here. And let me, you know what, I can't unregister that phone, but you know what, I can unregister mine. Let's go ahead and do that. Close that guy down to my other screen, and you'll notice right off of the bat, I went unregistered. And the minute this guy refreshes, you're going to notice it's also going to show me as logged out there. But now what we see is a phone, again, 5 registered devices, 2 that are unknown, and 2 totally unregistered, or 2 total unregistered devices. We're looking at all of the phones associated to those, the phones that people are on. So here's one of our Batman phones. And here is our other Batman phone, which does not have its naming convention set, but it is that guy right there. So essentially what we're looking at here are 2 different views. One that's going to be associated to our users showing logged in and logged out, and a second one that's going to be associated more based on the devices, and the devices that are registered to the call manager versus unregistered, but also associated to only the Hunt Pilots that I had chosen. So it's a great way to be able to view, again, who's logged in, who's logged out, how many people are available to take calls, not only from the user perspective, but also from the phone-based perspective. How many phones do I have online available to take calls? All right. These are pretty easy to set up. This is going to be part of our standard call analytics, but albeit it does not, use CDR, so we're not able to generate things like total volume or total counts for Victor. But the idea behind here is we can go ahead and build another widget that's going to show those total counts. It's going to show the productivity of the Hunt Pilot and the end users. These guys are really here to let you know how many agents you have available to take calls. If it's the lunch hour and you know it's going to be busy, you may want to get a couple more people logged in than 2. So that's the idea behind these guys, is giving you just a little bit more information based on those Hunt Pilots. All right. And with that, Trey, I know I did see some messages popping up at the corner over there. Do we have some questions we can answer?
Yeah, we've got a few questions so far. We'll start with the easy one. Jeremy says, where do we find this widget again? He was logging into his system when we were getting started and missed that part.
Yep, no problem, Jeremy. You probably don't have this yet. So this is going to be out in version 15.1, which we expect to be out towards the end of June, say middle to end of June, and that's when we expect to have this released. But we will go ahead and say, if there's some folks out here that want to take part in an early field trial and give this a try within their system, we're more than happy to work with you to make that happen. Please reach out to your account manager and let them know that you'd be interested in trialing out this widget, or you can always reach out to our support center at support@variphy.com. Just let them know that you'd be interested in trying this out, and we'd be more than happy to get in touch with you.
Awesome. We got Dan. He's asking, can this show status when on a call, or is that in the roadmap?
Unfortunately, at this point, we're not able to show status if somebody's on the call. I think if there's a way for us to dig that out of the call manager and the data, that's absolutely something that we will look towards in the future. But it's something that we do have to do a little bit more review on before I can say a yes or no.
Awesome. Thanks, Vic. We've got another one here from Sharice Rhodes. Is this in WebEx calling and call manager? We have both.
So right now, this is currently in call manager. We do not have this for WebEx as of yet, but I have been a champion of this widget for a long time. We do a ton of hunt group analytics. So if we have this capability in WebEx, I imagine, Sharice, that is absolutely something that we'll be putting together for WebEx.
Awesome. Yeah, I would imagine that's in the roadmap for WebEx as well. We've got Paul here. He's asking, can each hunt pilot table be shown in separate tables? This would be good to give area supervisors a means to monitor their call group.
I think I understand what you're saying, Paul. Is to have a different widget for each particular hunt pilot.
That's what it
With
sounds
that in
like to me
mind,
as well.
yeah, that's and if I'm wrong, Paul, feel free to email me, just Victor@Variphy.com. I'm more than happy to jump on the line and show you what we can do. But if I'm heading down the right path, absolutely, you can easily go ahead and create another widget just based off of the one you have. So this one here will be looking at one particular hunt pilot, and then once this guy renders, all I need to do is make a copy of it, and then I can just make it for a completely different hunt pilot.
Awesome. Yep. And I have Dan here again. He's asking if this is in 15.1, whether or not that's been released. And we covered that, Dan. It's coming out in a couple weeks here. I think about 3 to 4 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So just stay tuned and just keep an eye on everything LinkedIn and in your email, and you'll get notified as soon as 15.1 is out. We've got another one here from Sharice Rhodes. Can you see the number of calls, etc.? I know CDR is not written until a call ends, but even if they could see a 15-minute snapshot, that would help. Seeing call volume, who is answering calls, etc. If we can create this for the supervisors, we need to get that set up. I think you just answered.
Yep. Yeah, Sharice. Yeah, we cannot do that in this widget because this widget is really not reliant on CDR, but we can absolutely do that from a standard a standard hunt pilot widget or a standard grouping widget. So to answer that question, yes, we can absolutely show how many calls are coming into those hunt pilots, who's answering them, how many are being abandoned, and things like that. And it would just be a separate widget that you may have below this one or next to it or something like that. But to answer the question, yeah, we can definitely do that.
Awesome. And I've got one more here. So if anybody else has questions, feel free to add them in now. This one asks, we don't do login/logout of hunt group agents. Does this work for this case? Team members are just always, quote, on, so to speak. I'd like to see who is actually not logged into their soft phone.
That's really where the device-based widget is going to be coming in. If folks are not logging in or logging out, that's really going to be where the device-based widget comes in, because when they close out that soft device, they're going to go into a not ready state. That doesn't mean you can't use the user-based widget, because as I had kind of demonstrated with my own soft phone here, soon as I closed out my soft phone, it showed me as not ready. Although I didn't hit the log out button, I closed my soft device, essentially logging me out and making me unavailable to take calls. So both of these widgets will show whether somebody just closes their device or not closes their device.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Victor, by device-based widget, you're talking about the phone view perspective, right? So it's the same widget, just a different configuration, right?
You got it. Exactly. It's more looking from the phone's perspective of whether the phone is registered or unregistered, rather than whether somebody logged off or logged onto the hunt pilot or the hunt group. But both of these widgets will accomplish what I think you're looking for from a available to take calls perspective.
Excellent. Awesome. Thanks, Vic. I don't see any other questions here in the chat. So with that, we can go ahead and wrap up the Q&A for today's webinar. If anybody has other questions, they can feel free to email us, support@variphy.com, or you can email us personally. We'll have our email address listed at the end of the slide here. So with that, I can go ahead and announce the winner of the giveaway. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Just a moment. All right. So I got my screen up. Everyone pay attention to see if your name is called. I'll give you a quick little drum roll. And the winner is Sharice Rhodes. Congratulations. Everything was picked here. And coincidentally, my mom's name is also Sharice. So fun fact for you guys there. Awesome. So congrats, Sharice. Variphy will be reaching out to you shortly to get you paid. Congratulations again. And thank you for being here today. We do have a quick announcement before we head out today. There will not be a scheduled workshop next week. we will all be out at Cisco Live in Las Vegas. So if you are attending Cisco Live in Las Vegas, please feel free to stop by our booth. We are going to be at booth number 9205. It'll be my first Cisco Live, and I'd personally love the opportunity to meet with you guys next week. I know Vic will be there as well as many of our other employees here at Variphy. Just as a heads up, Variphy workshops will resume on June 14th. That one will be targeted towards the new features rolling out in 15.1. So we decided to have a webinar just for this one particular feature, but we have many other additions to 15.0 coming out with 15.1 due out in a few weeks. So lots of exciting stuff. You don't want to miss it. All right, and with that, I conclude today's webinar. I'd like to thank you guys once again for for joining us today. And if you haven't already, feel free to add us on LinkedIn. We'd love to connect with you. Shoot us an email if you have any questions. And with that, I wish you guys a great rest of your week. Take care and thanks a lot.
Thanks all.